What's going on, fight fans? This is Capital Combat. I'm Rob Jarrell, and it looks like we got one hell of a fourth quarter of boxing and MMA that's going to happen this year. A lot of new news came down for the matches being made, verbal agreements, prospective fights, and I don't know about y'all, but I am looking forward to all of it. So we're going to start off with boxing. And looking at the schedule, I have my computer here because it's a lot of fights going down, and I can't remember them all. But there's not much going down for the rest of September. And to be honest, there's not much going on for October because of the fact that most of it is international, not really big names. But just to kind of gloss over October for a second, we got Jurgen Brahma versus Nathan Cleverly for the WBA regular light heavyweight title. Of course, we know the WBA has all these different titles: regular, super, and interim. And that's going to be this weekend, actually. So we're going to keep going. We have not much. We got Ricky Burns versus Kiro Relic for the WBA junior welterweight title. That's the full title, by the way. That looks like it's on the 7th for Integrated Sports Pay-Per-View. We have Juan Manuel Lopez versus Wilfredo Vasquez for what Puerto Rico star is going to move on and who needs to get ready to retire. And blah, blah, blah. We got Tony Bellew versus BJ Flores. That's for the WBC Cruiserweight title, for Bellew's WEC Cruiserweight title. We know BJ has been trying to win one for a while, and this might be his last shot for a while. He had a very controversial loss to Beirut Shumanov in his last fight, which, meh. And Billy Joe Saunders is finally defending his WBO title, but he doesn't have an opponent yet, which doesn't make any freaking sense. So why would you even put that on there? So we're just going to skip over the rest of that. I really don't see anything. But let's get it started. November 5th, we have Jesse Vargas versus Manny Pacquiao for the WBO welterweight title that Jesse Vargas has. And on that undercard, we have Nonito Donaire versus Jesse Magdaleno. That's going to be a really good fight. It's good to see the two premier Filipino stars on the same card. We got Oscar Valdez versus Hiroshige Aswa for the WBO featherweight title. And Zhu Shiming, that's going to be featured in the opening card. So that's a pretty decent card. Pacquiao by himself wouldn't have been worth the cost of the pay-per-view. So because of that, might be worth it, might not, might stream it. But I think that's going to be streamed on Top Rank pay-per-view, so that's going to be right to the computer unless they can get a channel. Now, moving on, we've got Las Vegas pay-per-view, November 19th. That's Sergey Crusher Kovalev versus Andre Sonegal War for the WBO, IBF, and the WBA light heavyweight title. That's going to be an awesome fight. That's probably going to be the highest, well, let's not say the highest profile fight, but a pound for pound fight, because you have Sergey Kovalev, who is in the top 5, and Andre Ward, who I would say is in the top 5, but isn't. I actually would drop him because of his inactivity before this year, but he's looked impressive so far. And on the undercard, we have Isaac Chilembo, who gave Kovalev all he can handle for a few rounds, versus up-and-coming Alexander Gvozdyk. Feel free to correct me on this, but I'm going to say Zodic. And Zodic is definitely, he's going from prospect to contender because the guy's got loads of amateur experience. I think he has an Olympic medal, and he has looked like the real deal. So that's going to be a definitely good card. I would like to see him put one more high-profile fight on. Then we have returning on the 26th. On Showtime, we have Anthony Joshua. His fight's yet to be determined. Scott Quigg's going to be on that same card. They're trying to make the Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko, which I think all of us would love, love, love to see. Love to see. The only thing about that, we're looking for the ruling for the belts for Tyson Fury's heavyweight title belts, because I think he has the WBO and WBA belts, and because he can't fight Vladimir, it remains to be seen what the ruling's going to be, because he got hurt. They postponed the fight, and now he can't fight due to mental issues, which is a little bit crazy if you ask me anyway. So now it's kind of like they're postponing the fight. Now, so because Anthony Joshua doesn't have a dance partner, we got to put something in there, and Vladimir's been training, and he was going to turn it up anyway to fight in October versus Tyson Fury. We'll see, because that's going to be a big money fight. Could be on pay-per-view if you ask me. And that same day, we have Vasyl Lomachenko versus Nicholas Walters for the WBO junior lightweight title, and that's what I'm trying to see. This fight was supposed to be made either earlier this year or last year, but HBO wasn't opening the purse strings. So, because they're not paying for the Pacquiao fight, Pacquiao versus Jesse Vargas fight, and because Canelo's hurt, they don't have that December fight. So what does that do? Well, because you don't have to pay Canelo those 8 figures, not just 7, those 8 figures, that really opened up the purse strings, and now they have excess money to get this fight done. It's signed, sealed, and delivered to happen on November 26th on HBO. I'm really looking forward to this because it's a hard fight to tell. You have the slick, versatile Vasyl Lomachenko versus the powerful and rather big Nicholas Walters. He was big for 126, and he'll be big for 130 as well. So I'm really looking forward to that, and all of you all should be too. Then going into December, we have some decent fights, some fighters that's coming on here. But it looks like the one fight that they're trying to make now and get finalized for December 10th is Gennady Triple G Golovkin versus Danny the Miracle Man Jacobs. It hasn't been signed, but they're negotiating. Now, after this fight with Kell Brook, it's a lot of guys that started calling Triple G out. So Danny Jacobs did it the day before after he beat Sergio Moore in their rematch. Billy Joe Saunders didn't call him out until after the fight. So because Triple G is the super champion and Jacobs is the regular champion, it's going to be very easy to make that fight. And I think it's going to be very easy. It's more than likely going to be at the Barclays in Brooklyn. It's going to be they wanted it on pay-per-view, but it makes more sense to allow HBO to pay for it because the purse strings are opened up. So I am definitely looking forward to that, and everyone should, because this will be This would be Triple G's and Danny Jacobs' best opponents to date. We know Danny Jacobs, he knocked out Peter Quillen, which I think is his best win in one round. Then we have Triple G, whose best win, I would say, maybe best win or maybe would be Kell Brook or David Lemieux. It's kind of hard to say. But definitely looking forward to that one. And whoever wins this is definitely not only has the claim, but they're pretty much, I would say, top 3 to 4 pound for pound. I'm going to say top 3 to 4. Triple G, I think, is definitely in the top 10, possibly top 5. Danny Jacobs, I wouldn't call him in top 10, but it would be a great win for him. It would be a great win for Triple G. I would actually say, hey, take a break, because you're going to have Billy Joe Saunders and some up-and-coming guys right after that. I really hope that fight gets made and they have a really good undercard. And they're also trying to finalize James DeGale versus Badu Jack for PBC, whether it's on Showtime or could be on CBS and NBC. But either way, I would like to see that fight, because that was going to actually show the man at 168. And because Let's take a look at 168 because both of them have a belt. And at super middleweight, and my computer is moving rather slow. But yeah, James Gill will probably be number one. Badu Jack would be number two. Both of them only have one loss between the two of them. Then after that, you got the Durrells, Gilberto Ramirez. This is a deep division. You still got George Groves hanging around, Arthur Abraham, Felix Sturm. Callum Smith is actually going to get a title shot soon. Lucian Butte. So yeah, that's going to be. Oh yeah. We should be very excited about that one. And let's face it, if they make that fight right after that, or on that card is going to be Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, which definitely they've been pairing them up in fights, so it would only make sense. High profile championship fight, probably the 1 and 2 at middleweight. Throw Chocolatito on there, you got a fight card. And I wouldn't be surprised if they decided they didn't want to put that on pay-per-view as well. So we got a great fourth quarter up, and I think a lot of that hinged on the fact that HBO does not have to pay Pacquiao, and they don't have to pay Canelo this year. And we know with the budget cuts, that opened up a lot for HBO to do to get some of these fights done between, Rock Nation, Top Rank, Golden Boy. So I hope the rest of these fights get made and they have great undercards to them. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at the fourth quarter of MMA. And UFC 205 is shaping up to be the deepest and best card that you will see all year. We're looking at that schedule. That is on November 12th. Lomachenko was scheduled to fight on the 12th between Pacquiao and Kovalev Ward. But because they started putting UFC 205 together, it only made sense to move it and let them have that date. And excuse me. Sorry. Whew. Man, it is late. Right now, everything is okay. I mean, we got Bisping versus Dan Henderson 2. That's going on in October.
Why does he want out?
I guess that might be worth it. I mean, looking at it's not a really deep card, but some decent fights on it. You got Dan Henderson versus Michael Bisping. Bisping won the belt, and no one else apparently at 185 was available. Then also you have Vitor Belfort versus Gegard Mousasi, or Vincent Prue versus Jimmy Manawa, who's actually pretty decent. But we really don't know if he can beat OSP, and we don't know what OSP, because OSP can beat all the mid-level guys around B level about him, but when it gets to A level, he struggles. And then we have Stefan Struve versus, I'm not trying to pronounce that, Daniel Omielanchuk. Yeah, that's about as good as it's going to get. But let's be honest, we don't really care about 204. It might be a decent night. People are getting knocked out. We know Dan Henderson has dynamite in both hands. But let's take a look at that UFC card right quick. UFC 205 card.
Why does he...
I hate when they play this crap on here. So this is how deep the card is. We got Eddie Alvarez versus Conor McGregor at 155. It looks like for the belt. Jose Aldo is not happy because Conor McGregor still holds the 145 belt, and Jose Aldo is in line to get his title shot, and they put him against Eddie Alvarez for the 155 belt. Conor McGregor is not going to be able to make 145 anymore. I would say he's not going to be able to make 145. He went up to 170, the full 170, and he's a big dude, and he looked super drained at 145. But that's going to be a great fight because Conor McGregor was supposed to fight Dos Anjos. Dos Anjos got beat by Eddie Alvarez. That's going to be good. Then we got Tyron Woodley, the new champion at what's that, 185? Yeah, 185. No, 170. Getting them mixed up with MMA. But 170 is going against the once defeated Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. That's going to be a great fight. I think they're looking to really push Stephen Thompson. And then we have Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Karolina Kowalski. Yeah, my computer just cut off on me. So, but the card is just really, really deep. Give me a second. Let me grab my charger. All right, we are back. Let's get the computer back on and take a look at this. My computer battery sucks. I wish I had all this stuff memorized, but I don't. It's a lot of information, and once your computer goes out, it's... But I'm looking forward to 205. Of course, we have Bellator in between there. We have Glory in between there, and World Series of Fighting in between there. All right, let's get this back on. All right, so sorry about that. So I said Karolina Kowalski. I can't pronounce these. These are just Polish names. But her and Jędrzejczyk are both undefeated at 115. Then we have Chris Weidman versus Joel Romero. Both of them are once defeated. I'm looking forward to that one because someone's getting knocked out, if you ask me. Then we got Donald Cowboy Cerrone, who's going to have his second fight at 170. He's going to fight Kelvin Gastelum. Cerrone is big. He's 6 feet, so I don't know how he fought at 155 for so long. But he's at 170. He's looking healthy. He's looking strong, and he got a really good finish in his last fight. Then we have Michael Johnson, who will be fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov, who is also undefeated, and he was actually supposed to have his shot at Eddie Alvarez for that title at 155, and he's feeling like Eddie Alvarez ran, McGregor took his spot, and he should be in the spotlight. And we know Michael Johnson actually just won. Yeah, they did my man Khabib wrong. But we got Michael Johnson, who had his last fight versus Dustin Poirier, and that ended in a KO in the first round. He looked good doing it. I'm kind of looking forward to that fight because he really did. Yeah, he looked good. Then we had Miesha Tate coming back after her loss in her last fight versus Raquel Pennington. Hopefully she is able to cut weight properly because she looked super drained and very weak in her last fight. Then we got Jeremy Stevens versus Frankie Edgar at featherweight. Then we got Sugar Rashad Evans in his first fight at 185 versus Tim Kennedy, which should be interesting. I think he'll be headlining the card on not Spike but like Fox Sports 1. Then we have Tim Balcher's featured, Thiago Alvarez's featured, and then I think Liz Carmouche is going to be featured. All that's going to be on the free card, and then I think starting at the, if I'm going to say their opening, I want to say Michael Johnson and Nurmagomedov, maybe Miesha Tate. It should be interesting. But we're talking about a super deep card that's going to go on for the whole night. worth the price of admission. Mostly three championship fights that night, and the rest are just going to be really good fights, which I think are all going to end in submission or knockout. So tell us what you think. Tell us what fights you're looking forward to the most, the UFC or boxing, because it's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of pay-per-views, so get your money ready. It's going to be anywhere from $50 to $70, and trust me, it is definitely worth it. So in the comments, tell us what you think. I know this has been a long video. I had some technical difficulties with my computer. You can hear my fan going on. Hakeem's going to be coming up with some videos. I don't even know what he's coming out with yet, because life happens. We haven't been able to get together. It's been a slow week. I'm probably going to do a few more videos. I want to talk about some fights that I did have a chance to see. I want to watch them again and break them down for you. And then we're going to be bringing you some technical toolboxes coming here soon. Hopefully we get you a little bit of jiu-jitsu, maybe some Muay Thai. And until next time, subscribe, like, share with your friends. Hit us up at capitalcombat@gmail.com, Capital Combat at Facebook, Instagram, Google+. We talk to everyone, and don't forget to subscribe, because the more content, the more people who subscribe, the more content we can bring to you. So until next time, peace.